And a review of You're on the brown note with Julian. A review of The Cursed, a new horror film from Sean Ellis. He's not done much in the way of feature-length projects. He's done a few, The Broken, I think, and so it had some Oscar-nominated short films. But on this film, he seems to have complete mastery of the form of filmmaking in every direction. So this is a horror film. And the trope is, it's a fairly standard thing, which we've seen in many films. It starts in World War One, and there's a really well framed battle scenes. I don't know what the budget was on this film, but it looks box office 5 million. It doesn't say what the budget was, because if the budget was 5 million, it doesn't look like it. We're in World War One, and there's this officer that's been shot. He goes on the operating table. The medical guy pulls out the bullets and finds that one of them is an intact silver bullet. We then travel back to the late 1800s, and it's never really fully defined as to where all of this is happening, but I will have to assume, given everything else, that it is England. But it could be Europe as well at times. So there's this very confronting scene where the Roma people, who are, demonized throughout Europe, are in their encampment claiming that the land is theirs, and the rich owner of the land around that part of his estate basically employs some very, very brutal men to go in and massacre these Roma. Which in turn leads to a curse on this very posh family. And it's alluded to the fact that, like, the murders at the start are incredibly brutal, and it's alluded to the fact that the Roma woman, I don't think the Roma were particularly pleased with their portrayal in this film, as it does engage with the negative stereotypes of gypsy women putting curses on people. And that's basically what happens. And there's a family that live in this very posh estate, and bad things begin to happen to them. Who's the dad? It might be Alistair Petrie as the patriarch of the family. And the wife, Kelly Riley, who's a wonderful actress who pops up every now and again and hasn't quite got there yet. I think her performance here is excellent, and I hope that pushes her over. She was in Flight, and she was all right across from Denzel Washington. I really remember her from Eden Lake. If you want a nice, pleasant evening, don't read up about Eden Lake. Just give it a watch. Oh, my word. That was a very, very, very upsetting chav horror film from about, I think, 2008. Oh my God, I'm still getting over that. That was a brilliant film. And the first film, I think, that we saw, I never remember his name, the guy from the Magneto from the X-Men movies, the younger version. Anyway, she's the wife, and it's a lot of the filmmaking so good, because it is very obvious that her husband, she's in a loveless, sexless marriage, and that's shown in a few scenes quite well early on. But the land where the people were murdered becomes off limits to everyone, and the young kids, sort of build it up to be like this, almost like the kids out of It, actually. They sort of go into this land to find this mysterious thing that's happened, and encounter this set of silver teeth, which leads to the son of this rich family being attacked and bitten, and developing this very weird illness. And eventually he disappears from the bed he's in the family home. The windows are wide open, and it's all very sort of vampiric and werewolfy, which isn't, it's not the most original setup. That this town is then cursed. So there's the Lord of the Manor, and then there's a much larger population of serfs who are, in the employ mainly of this landed gentry. And bad things start happening to them. Boyd Holbrook appears as a guy that has been working in France, chasing these Roma to find instances where bad things have started happening to populations where people have been turning up, brutally murdered, eviscerated like by a wolf, but he knows that there's more to it. And he himself has lost his own family to such an incident where there was a creature that destroyed killed 17 people, including his wife and child. So he hunts these creatures throughout the world. He sets up home in this country manor estate, trying to find the missing boy, and then bad things start happening to everyone else. And honestly, it's got reasonably good reviews, but it's nowhere near as good reviews as it should get. I doubt this has got a mega budget, but it does at times. It's an A24 adjacent film. It's not quite as art house or out there as some of the A24 horror classics, but at times I was thinking of The Witch. I would say cinematography and atmosphere of the cinematography is magnificent. It looks like a really expensive film, whether it's the brief shots of World War One, or whether it's the country estate doused in fog. It's really beautifully framed. It's the interiors is like Downton Abbey esque and very, very handsomely mounted. Everything is looks to be historically accurate, and I really, really like the look of the film and the sound of the film. Who did we have here? Robert Foster, I don't know, but I thought it looked and sounded incredible. I thought the pacing of the film was excellent. It is a slow burn horror, so don't get on board unless you want to watch a slow horror film. He manages to insert very shocking and barbaric moments at equidistant points to keep you enthralled, which I really liked. And I thought even though the premise of this sort of, the werewolf attacking a town sort of film isn't the most original, I actually like the progress of the story. I thought that the denouement, which threads all the way back to that opening scene, was really well done. I didn't get it. I didn't get the obvious thing that was going to happen. And I thought that last bit was really clever and a great resolution. Boyd Holbrook I'd had problems with as an actor, being just too bland and often a clumsy actor alongside much better actors. Here I thought he was excellent. I really like Kelly Riley here. I thought she really stood out, and I hope that she's sort of gone from being an also-ran, but in some pretty decent films, to actually being a lot more well-regarded. And just all round, everything was done well. I think he's got a complete mastery of form. When it comes to cinema, I'm really looking forward to more from him. It's taken a long time to sort of move into full-length major films, Sean Ellis, but I'll be very interested. I didn't think he put hardly a foot wrong throughout. I thought that he handled the screenplay very well. He handled the technical aspects of the sound and visuals expertly well. I thought the casting was good, and I thought that a few of the actors in it were excellent. And I thought he created this thick, dense atmosphere that was really, I found enjoyable. So I'm going to give The Cursed I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. Now, I've